This is just a classic case leadership situation. You've got a trusted commander, proven leader, by the way, a Medal of Honor recipient that just freaking led the holding of the Round Top, maybe a year prior. This guy is respected, and they went to multiple battles in between. So here he is, and he's saying, hey, boss, I don't think this is a good idea. And you say, shut up and go. And this is the result. So when your subordinates are pushing back, don't think that you're right and they're wrong. Maybe think that they're right and you're wrong. Is there a chance you're right? Maybe. But where's Grant? Where's Grant right now? I don't know where he is. He's probably in the rear somewhere with the gear. He's in the rear with the gear. I'm out here on the front line. I'm observing the enemy positions. I can see how they're laid up. I understand the terrain way better than Grant does. And now he's telling me, no, you know what? You shut up and charge. Don't worry, the Army's going to have your back. Bro, no. Let's not do that. By the way, if there was some reason and I can articulate, if I say, hey, Jason, I want you to assault this thing, and you go, hey, boss, doesn't look like a good idea. And I say, hey, the reason I'm having you assault that is because as you assault that, we're actually sending some troops over here to this other position, and that's our main objective. And you go, got it. If you can articulate that, okay. But if you can't even articulate a reason other than, hey, shut up and do what I told you, that's probably not a good indication. If your best defense in an argument is to say, shut up and do what I told you, that's probably an indication that you don't have a good argument because you're probably wrong. So this is the kind of lessons that we can learn from a leader. And you know what? Chamberlain, here's a discredit to Chamberlain. Hey, I'm not going. Hey, well, I'm not doing this. It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to go talk to Grant. I'm leaving right now. Could he have pushed back harder? He sent one note. Could he have pushed back harder?
Maybe he thought that the Army was actually coming in on the right.
True.
I mean, if he has a relationship with Grant and he's like, okay, I buy that maybe they're coming in and he's got a bigger plan for me, and that's probably why.
Yeah, and that seemed to gratify him. That, okay, if you're going to hit them with the, just like I just said to you, if like, hey, Jason, you need to assault that. And you're like, hey, bro, it doesn't seem like a good idea. And I say, yeah, but don't worry, I'm going to get your flank over here and we're going to run them up. And you go, cool, got it. Because now you know that you're going to have to commence the assault, make some progress, but then you're going to get relief very quickly, and we're going to have the upper hand very quickly. So now you understand it and it makes sense. So yeah, maybe that was the case. What we can learn from that is there's a time to push back, and there's a time to push back hard. There's a time to maybe ask earnest questions.
Either way, you're losing. When you push back, there's a way to push back too, because you're going to lose capital with the leadership capital with the person.
Yes.
And if I tell you to shut up and do something, I'm losing a ton of leadership capital too, and you have to realize that. So two things are important. One is make sure that you're building up leadership capital with everybody around you so that you can actually make withdrawals on that bank account because you've built it up.
You know what's weird is I just kind of like left myself out in the air. I left my flank out. I said, there's a time to push back, and I was like, wait. Because to me, there's always a time to push back. If you're telling me to do something stupid. Now, look, if we're in a firefight and you look at me and you say, hey, Jocko, get in that building over there, I'm going to do it unless I see something crazy.
Right.
I'm going to do it. I'm not going to push back then because we're at the moment of truth, right? Mm-hmm. Those moments are very rare. They're very, very rare where I have to just trust you. Now, look, we built trust over time. So if you tell me take that building, I know you're telling it to me for a good reason. So I guess there's a time to push back. I guess the other part of that is there's a time to make sure you understand the bigger picture. Because you either have to push back or you ask the question, say, wait a second, Jocko, why do you want me to assault that building? It doesn't make any sense. And I say, here's why. Because as you assault that building, we're going to commence these other operations. It's going to keep the enemy distracted, and then we're going to have the upper hand. And you go, okay, cool, got it. So there's a time to push back. There's a time to check yourself and make sure you understand the bigger picture yourself. And if there's no bigger picture, the bigger picture doesn't make sense, then maybe you have to say, look, I'm not doing this.
On the battlefield, though, everybody's a chess piece. And it may be that your chess piece is getting taken, and that's probably what he realizes. Like, okay, well, he told me they're coming from the right, and this is lousy for us, but they're willing to make that sacrifice. It's really difficult to parse apart.
Yeah, it is difficult to parse apart. I mean, we could probably find more research and get more information behind the decision-making process, but the lesson is very clear. And look, you're right. There's times where, especially in an all-out war like this, hey, this chess piece, just like in chess, literally, sometimes you move the knight and it gets taken by the bishop, but now the bishop is in a blocked position. So you made the good move. You sat. There are times in battle where that happens. I mean, when you look at D-Day, some of those initial people hitting the beaches, they were in a huge situation to be sacrificed. That's what was about to happen. Look, were they suicide? No, not quite. But damn, that should be very rare.
When they're telling him to hold the left flank on Little Round Pot at all hazards.
Yeah, but that needs no explanation, right?
Yeah.
That needs no explanation. Hey, you didn't even need to ask why. Oh, we're on the extreme. That's what Vincent says to him. You're on the extreme left. Do you understand? He's like, yes, I understand. I know what that means. That means if I go, if I fall, we all fall.
Yeah.